We're back, folks, with another edition of the Michigan Recruiting Insider, and we've been talking about the prospects that Michigan is bringing in this spring from all over the country, focused mostly on the class of 2026, but the Wolverines are reaching down to the underclassmen as well. And we've been talking about footprint recruiting today. Well, we know that the Wolverines love the state of Illinois, going down to the Chi and grabbing big-time prospects out of that area. We know they've been doing well. You remember that guy, J.J. McCarthy? You know, a lot of different guys from that footprint area they've been doing well with. Well, another young man from the Windy City, a youngster with us today. You know, when you have a name that's a metaphor, that means something. Future DeMoss from Simeon High School with us today. A youngster edge prospect that's one of the best in the land with us. My brother Levi Bradley said, take care of this young brother because he is going to be one of the guys you hear about in the future, Sam. So, Future, how you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, man, glad that you could be with us today. And so, like I said, when your name is a metaphor, that is going to be, I think, a prophetic thing. And that's what, and when I hear a guy that my man Levi says is going to be a pretty good player, knowing all the big time players that he's had come his way, that means something to me as well. So let's go back to your beginnings in the sport, Future. When you got in the game, when did you start loving the game? Let's start there.
Well, when I first started loving the game was around in elementary school, because that's when I saw like Odell, the one-hand catch, and I wanted to be like Odell. And then once I kind of, got into football in like middle school, and that's when I really like started liking the game and loving it.
So did you start out as an offensive guy?
At first, yes.
You started out as an offensive guy, man. So how did I'm interested to hear when a guy starts on offense and makes that transition to defense. When does that switch flip? Because every guy and people watching this know, they hear me say all the time, defense is a mentality. Like you defensive guys want to hit people. Like there's an edge to it. Offensive guys, it's a little bit more finesse to it. So
yeah.
When did that switch kind of flip for you?
Well, it flipped for me in the first game, because it was like I was on O-line, and my coach, I didn't even know what I was doing, to be honest. And my coach put me at D-line, and he saw the potential in me. And that's really when I wanted to switch.
And so you saw when you were on the defensive line. Was it one of those things where you said he put you on defensive line and you just like hitting people more?
Yes.
Was that, because that when you say
Yes.
you saw the potential in you, was it that you liked hitting people, or you just felt like what your coach was telling you about you having potential there kind of resonated with you more? Which one was it?
I like hitting people.
You like hitting people. All right, see, now that's what I mean by defense being a mentality. You like hitting people, and that's probably what he meant by him seeing the potential in you. So now, Future, there's another piece of it. There is, you're loving the game, you like hitting people, but then there's a time when you realize, all right, I'm a little bit better than the rest of these dudes out here. Not being cocky or arrogant about it, but yeah, you're a little bit more talented than the other guys around you. When did you start realizing that?
I started realizing that when I started putting more into football than other people. Because sometimes at lunch I would go work out and none of my teammates would be back there with me. So I'd just be back there by myself working out. And that kind of separated me, because as a freshman, I came in, weak. So I felt like I had to get stronger to play better. So, it kind of came naturally, because I also like lifting weights. So
yeah, well, that's one of the things that can be a separator. I mean, you got natural talent, but there winds up being a lot of guys that have natural talent, and the thing that separates the guys with the natural talent, the good from the great, is the guys who are willing to put in the work. And so you guys at Simeon will have, guys that have some talent, but the Future DeMosses, the Mikael Blades, the cream rising to the top. It's about who's going to put in that extra work. And so when you do that, it starts to show up on the field, right? And you start to ball out, and then colleges start to notice. And so when did you start to feel like colleges started to come through on the recruiting side? When did you first start noticing that?
Well, colleges, like the playoffs, because that's really when I got my shot. Because some of my teammates were down, and I had to step up. And it was a 5-man front because our coach changed it. So it's like I made some plays there. And then during the regular season, I made some plays there. It's like I really didn't get a chance to really play all the snaps, but the snaps I did, I played well. That's what my coach told me.
I got you. So let's talk about your game. All right, so let's pretend for a second that you're a coach or a scout and you're watching Future DeMoss on the field. Break down your game. Give me a scouting report. What do we see?
Kind of a lot of everything. Like with technique, you got power, you got speed. But in some cases, you meet somebody that's like maybe a little better than you, and you got to rise to the occasion to, beat them. And that's what I kind of did in some of these games. Well, in one game, I remember when it was this tall tackle. He was about 6'6", 6'7", and basically, he was around like 300, 300 something. And the QB, he pulled the ball. I was running up the field. I did a spin move off of the tackle, and then QB came through. I tackled the QB. Like on some, I jumped on him, basically.
So you holding your technique, you getting your moves down. Are there players that you watch that you take moves from? I mean, anyone that you try to emulate out there? I mean, anyone you compare yourself to at all?
Well, I mainly watch Myles Garrett.
Okay.
I really wanted to be like Myles Garrett, cause it's like I see him and he got everything, and that's basically what I want. Cause he got speed, got power, and technique, and basically that's what I try to emulate.
I got you. All right. So you're obviously at the beginning stages of recruiting, but you're already, picking up offers. So how many offers are you up to at this point?
13.
Up to 13 offers. And so now, are any of those offers standing out to you at the moment?
The 3, I know Michigan. You got Indiana. That's where I went to. That was my first offer. And then you got, I would say, Michigan State. Cause that's where that's been my 3 visits so far.
Got you. All right. So when did the Michigan offer come through? Take me through that experience of when it came and your reaction to it when you got it.
Well, it was on my first visit to Michigan with my teammates. And this is only my second visit here. So, but my first one, we was walking around, and the D-line coach, Lou, he pulled me to the side, and we went into his office. He was like, "You got an offer from Michigan." And I didn't even know what to say. I was excited. I didn't even know that could happen. But it kind of stood out to me because no coach has ever done that. They come to the school and offer me, but no coach has actually pulled me into their office and said, "You got an offer."
So when you heard it in that moment, how did you react? I mean, did you react in that moment, or did you kind of wait until you got away from it to react?
I kind of waited because I was, in my mind, I was shocked, but I was like, I got an offer from Michigan. And I didn't realize at the time how big it was, because it's like, I'm new to it all. So it's like, it caught me off guard.
So when you told your moms, what was her reaction?
She was in the room with me.
Oh, she was in the room with you. So did she react?
Yeah.
So what was her reaction?
Excited, happy, smiling. She also, she know Artist Hicks, and Artist Hicks I think is a close friend of Lou, so they kind of got that in common. But she was overall excited and happy. And she said, there's many more to come, so.
I got you. All right, so you mentioned Coach Lou. So tell me about the vibe with Coach Espo. What is it like? What do you think of Coach Espo?
Well, Coach Espo, he a great guy, Like, usually, some coaches, they won't say, like, nothing to you, say nothing to your face. But Coach Lou, he'll tell you, and he'll give you the real stuff. Like, he wouldn't lie. So, like, some things that I would see, like, some coaches, they'll be yelling at their players. Coach Lou, he'll yell, but he'll also give them, like, he'll get them right so they understand what they got to do. So, basically, he's just a great guy overall.
So what about practice? I mean, what did you think of the practice? Anything or anybody stand out to you at practice when you went?
I did see the edges with Coach Fee, and I really like what they was doing. They was working on their technique. I didn't really see it, but I think Coach Fee did. He was like, "Your steps is too wide," because they was doing the bag drill. It's like you hitting the bags, so you flipping your hips, and some of them was stepping through. And I seen this tall dude. He was taller than me, but you know that kind of stood out. And at the end of practice, I did see a lot of like hitting at the end. That's what I really like. Mm-hmm. So I also got to take a picture with Bryce Underwood.
His profile as a guy, as a recruit, a couple years ahead of you, does that increase how Michigan looks in your eyes? I mean, does him going there make Michigan look more appealing to you, or does it not affect you in that way?
It doesn't affect me.
Okay.
Because at first, I didn't even know who Bryce Underwood was. So I was just paying attention to what I had going on with the D-line and stuff. So I didn't know who he was. And people was excited. I was like, who is this? So it didn't affect, Michigan for me. I'm always going to see Michigan the same in my eyes.
I got you. All right, so what about Coach Moore? Give me your thoughts on Coach Moore.
When I went to Coach Moore's office, he wanted me to wear the chain. I was like, no, I wasn't going to do that. And then he kind of looked like some kids wear the chain and this one don't. So I think I kind of stood out. But he just a great guy overall, a great coach. Last year, it wasn't the best of records, but I know this year coming up is most definitely.
All right. So moving away from Michigan, Future, when you get ready to pick the school down the line, mm-hmm. You have an idea what the big factors in your choice are going to be?
Well, the first one, I would say, is the environment that I'm in. Like the type of people I'm around, the type of teammates that I want to be around. People that, uplift each other, but also have the same mindset as me, want to play football, And the second one, I'll say academics is very important coming into graduation and stuff. You always got to be smart, because if you're not smart, you're not going to make it in life. That's what I think, at least. And then a third, I'll probably say, I got to think. The third, really football. Mm-hmm. How good the program is and what the expectations of the program is from the player. Because I want a place that could push me. I want to win every rep. I don't like losing. So that's really it.
What about distance from home? How big is that going to be?
Not that bad. It's not really. It don't affect me. Because I could be somewhere a long time. I would still want to go home, but I kind of get used to it because it's my second home. So. Okay.
So have you talked to your moms about distance from home?
No.
You haven't talked to her about that?
Mm-mm.
I mean, she might not want you to go that far away.
I'm not that far.
I mean, not right now, but what if, if you in like Oregon and she in Chicago, have you talked to her about that?
Mm-mm. No, not yet. Because I still got other options around the area.
Okay. That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking the question. I'm not suggesting that it should be. I'm just asking if it will be.
Well, if it will be, it wouldn't affect me.
Okay. All right. So what about NIL? That came. How big a factor will NIL be?
Not that big. Because I want to go somewhere where I could play football to my best ability and not worry about the money on the table. you know, the deals that I get. I just want to be somewhere where I could call it my second home and play as best football as I can.
And the deals will come.
I guess.
Yeah, the deals will come. I got you. All right. So, you know, as you kind of navigate this process, we say this to all the guys, man. You don't navigate it alone. You know, you got a circle, you got a support system that's helping you navigate this process, picking you up when you're down, holding you accountable like you need to be held accountable, enjoying the success when you have the success, you know, and when you fall down, like I said, picking you up. So this is your opportunity to shout out those people that are helping you along the way. So this, I told you to ignore the camera, but this is the time when I want you to look at the camera and to shout out those people that's helping you along in this journey.
Well, first I want to say my mom. Second, I say Coach Q. Third, I say Coach Levi. Fourth, I would say Coach Reggie, because he's been there with me since freshman year. Coach Ken, the other Coach Ken, Coach Kenyatta. Who else? Coach Cola for supporting me and being there for me. Who else? Coach Chris, which is Chris Burgess' dad, Chris Burgess Sr. Who else? Coach Blade, that's Blade brother. Oh yeah. And my trainer, Josh Forney. And that's really it.
I got you, man. That's a nice circle. That's a nice circle, picking you up like you and holding you down like you need to be. So if we want to come watch you do your thing, give us a couple of Simeon games to come see you.
The first game.
Get down. The first game.
And then the game against Kenwood and Morgan Park.
Okay. Who was the first game against?
Wheaton North.
Okay, so that's 3 good ones to come watch you this coming season. So the last few to wrap this up, timeline. I may have touched on this already, but in case I didn't, you gonna be a guy that waits until your senior season to make a decision? You're gonna try to get it out of the way before that?
Probably, but yeah, my senior season.
Okay.
Because I get all the options on the table, so I know, like, everything to come.
Okay. So your man Blade is gonna make his decision before you, obviously. Is where he winds up, is that gonna affect what you do at all?
No.
Okay. The last question about Michigan. The thing you like most about Michigan at this point, what's the biggest question you have about Michigan at this point?
Well, the biggest question I would have is, how will Michigan make me a better football player after high school? And how I get bigger, faster, and stronger?
And what do you like most about them?
Football.
I got you. All right, well, Future. Hey, man, appreciate you taking the time with us today. Good luck this season and the rest of the way in recruiting. We'll be out to watch you this year.
All right.
All right, thanks a lot for your time. And thanks for watching another edition of the Michigan Recruiting Insider.